co-host of Palatini, as well as his own podcast, Tuesdays with Josie. You can find anywhere you listen to podcasts. He is guest co-hosting with me today, and we have a lovely show lined up for you.
We have a lot of guests.
We do have a lot of guests. We're going to talk a little bit about. We'll have time to talk. I promise. Right now, we're talking right now. Hi, but I want you to interview the guests too. This is our show today.
Absolutely.
And of course, we'll have the phone lines open shortly. But let's get to, first of all, gratitude. You know, whenever you do public speaking, one of the things I learned running for office is you start with gratitude. Mm-hmm. So I am grateful for all of our wonderful sponsors. Have you met my friends Patty and Jackie from Pride Coffee Roasters?
I have not.
You need to be drinking their coffee.
Okay.
Do you make your coffee? Do you pre-make your coffee the night before when you go to bed? Or do you have a Keurig?
I don't drink coffee. I mean, in the mornings, but I will drink coffee, but I don't. It's not.
When do you drink coffee? Like a dessert thing?
If I'm meeting somebody, but I don't do it in the morning. It's not a thing that I do.
And then when you drink coffee when you're meeting with somebody, are you just going through the motions of it? Oh, God.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I've heard them on your show, and
they're fantastic.
The way that they prepare and the way they describe their recipes, they sound amazing.
They're so good. I love it. But so right. Do you have this where you can think of a food or a smell and immediately start getting hungry?
Yes.
Yeah, I have that. Like, there's a guy who does hot sauce at the Jefferson Park Sunday Market, which is where I met my friends from Pride Coffee Roasters. Okay. And he makes this, I think it's called angel sauce. And as I walked by his tent, I didn't need to buy more because I have 2 jars in my pantry. Okay. But it goes so well with, you can mix it as a dip. You can put it on your chicken. And then, like, the spices and the jams from Rollicking Buckaroo. At any rate, all my friends from the Jefferson. I need to see you at my market sometime.
I met you there once. Yes, only once. I'm sorry.
Yes. Okay, that's okay.
But I will do it again.
At any rate, I'm grateful for my friends from Pride Coffee Roasters and the amazing work that they do, bringing fantastic beans into my life. You can get a bean subscription on their website, Pride Coffee Roasters, and we'll be talking to them in the weeks to come. We also are going to be talking to Peter Sorellis and my friend Warren Price. Both of them are my friends, but I always have to make sure I say Peter Sorellis' name correctly. And they are, of course, the proprietors. Peter Sorellis is the founder of Source Solar. Go to source.solar and make an appointment because the incentives for solar panels is about to expire. Did you get your solar panels on?
I did.
And how do you like it?
I love them.
Does it make sense to you?
Yeah,
I mean, like,
it does. Yeah.
Was it kind of daunting to go through the process?
Honestly, it was actually really easy.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was amazing. Like everybody, I didn't have to do a thing. Like I just had to be there, basically. Okay. Yeah. But they had to tear up my concrete in the backyard to run everything they did, they fixed. Mm-hmm. They're coming back in a week or 2 to fix something else, but it's just all done.
And you have like a old school bungalow, don't you?
It was built in 1916. So yeah, she's an old girl. Yeah, she is, and I love her. She's
Mine's
great.
1926, and I love her as well.
Yeah, she's a girl. I love her. Yeah.
I wish she had a better open floor plan. You have your kitchen is really I love your kitchen island. Your kitchen space is beautiful.
Yeah,
it's really, really nice.
But no, solar panels are thing. But that's the other part that was part of this big BS bill. Mm-hmm. It phases all of that stuff out. Yeah. So which. I don't understand why, but it's kind of like when Reagan removed the solar panels off the White House. Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
You ask again, why?
Why? All the things. So I'm not going to panic anybody about solar panels. I'm just saying, not for nothing. But if you've been considering it, if you've been on the fence, make an appointment, have the meeting. Discuss your options for your business, for your home, because those incentives are set to expire. Yeah. And you'll have to wait until we get democracy back on track.
Check it out. It's well worth it.
Yeah. Awesome.
Check it out. Yeah.
Excellent. I'm so glad you're happy with it. I also want to thank our friends at Minocqua Brewing Company. I don't know if you're following Kirk's wild ride up there. Okay, so the latest thing is, right, so they arrested him and 5 of his patrons last week.
I didn't see that.
Yes, they were arrested. Okay. It's a long story, but the new thing is that the Department of Transportation in the area came onto their property, Minocqua Brewing Company's property in Minocqua, Wisconsin, and installed like a traffic monitoring camera on his property, on his signage. And they basically sent them a letter from the lawyers saying, look, you are on our property now. Like this is this is surveillance. And also we're just going to dig up our sign and you can come and get your equipment. Anyway, Department of Transportation in the area has removed the cameras. But this is happening in real time.
He pays property property taxes.
I mean,
that's his what? Okay.
And he's bringing tourists there, and there are people coming in. I met somebody from Seattle, that came all the way from Seattle to Madison, Wisconsin, just to go to his tap room to support what he's doing.
That's amazing.
And you know what I found out? I have to tell you something fantastic. So you know how the LARPers, the ICE LARPers were, and I saw this Republican conservative social media commentator say that in the picture at the Chicago Puerto Rican Arts and Cultural Museum, that they were described as being unidentified, and they were like, oh no, it says police right on their shirt. You can buy that on Amazon.
You can
get those little tiny stupid vests on Etsy. And I'm not saying that the vests that our law enforcement wears are stupid. I'm saying the ones wearing masks or not wearing proper ID are LARPing.
Yeah.
At any rate, so the festival, the Barrio Festival they had this weekend was huge. The turnout, like people showed up, and people were coming from Wisconsin, from Minnesota, saying they saw it on the news, and they drove to Chicago to stand with the people of the community in Humboldt. I almost started crying today.
That's awesome.
Isn't that amazing?
Because we need community.
Yes.
We need people to come and just support. That's
I love it. Yeah. I wish I'd been in there. I would have given out pens and told them to listen to my show.
There you go.
Folks, the only way we're going to get more listeners is for you to tell somebody. And they told 10 people. Wasn't that a hair commercial like in the 80s? And I told 10 people, and she told 10 people, and she told 10 people.
I was born in 87, so I don't know.
I'm not going to talk to you anymore about the 80s. I forget that I'm old. Let me tell you something about the 80s. I also want to thank our friends at Kids Above All. Go to kidsabovall.org and support their mission to help children live happy, healthy, safe lives. Speaking of children and staying healthy, there is a story you can catch on Heartland Signal. Go to heartlandsignal.com or follow them on Twitter and all the social media platforms. I don't know if you followed this story, and we're going to talk to Jess Piper tomorrow, the Dirt Road Dem. But did you see? There were referendums across the country over the last few years pushing back on MAGA's agenda, right? Mm-hmm. Whether it was abortion rights, we saw that happen in Kansas. They wanted to codify it in their constitution. Ohio pushed back. Well, in Missouri, they voted 58% of the people who showed up to vote, even though they didn't vote for Kamala Harris in the same numbers. So clearly some Republicans voted for this. They voted for paid sick leave, that for every 30 hours that you work, you earn an hour of paid sick leave. And the governor of Missouri has repealed that legislation because they said too many people are pretending to be sick, and it's an onerous burden on business owners. And I'll tell you something, if you run a business where your employees cannot take a sick day for themselves or for their children, you are not running a business, you are running a health hazard. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying.
I posted about this yesterday.
You did?
This exact thing, where it was like, so 60% of the voters approved. Uh-huh. And then all of a sudden, and Missouri is a very gerrymandered state. And so then the legislature basically just votes to overturn it. And again, very gerrymandered. So like, they're all like, yeah, no, not a thing. Yeah. And then they signed it until, But 60% of the state was like, yeah, we want this.
1.7 million people said, we think that when our child is sick, we should be able to go take care of them, not send them to school sick, and not lose my job or not lose pay. It's a bit... these people.
There's an ad that they play, I think, on this station for Jimmy John's, where it's basically like one of these sandwiches was made by a sick employee. One was, pick one. Mm-hmm. Why don't you just give them sick leave?
Why do I have to think about snot on my Subway sandwich? Not Subway. I know it wasn't Subway, but no, I'm just kidding. I used to work at Subway. Yeah. But the sneeze guard was possibly facing the wrong direction sometimes.
If you do not, COVID event like that essentially was like, if you don't feel well, stay home. Yeah. But you need to be able to stay home and not be able to pay your rent. Like, you need to be able to stay home and have paid leave so you could pay your rent, pay your mortgage, or electricity, whatever. Because if you're sick, stay home. Yeah, that's it.
That's it. Just, Well, and it's Republicans constantly telling us that our only value is what we contribute in labor. And the amount of labor that Americans produce and participate in is not commiserate. It does not equal the amount of wealth that has been created in this country that has been flooded to the top. And so now, and they won't even let you take time off for hours of sick that you earn. You know what I'm saying?
You can't even vote.
And it's,
you can't take time off to vote.
And here's the thing. They might be pretending that they're sick. And guess what? Mental health also should be considered something you take time off for.
Mental health days are a thing.
They're a thing.
They're a thing.
They're a thing in Illinois, and thank you to our legislators, and even the ones I don't like.
Yeah.
Just saying. Thank you for pushing the right button.
Just drop that right.
Yeah, I'm trying to be. I wrote a piece for. By the way, folks, please. Is it today, Tuesday?
Today's Tuesday.
So today I have one more day, today and tomorrow. If you subscribe to Minocqua Brewing Company Substack and then read my column, you don't have to read the whole thing. Someone said it was a little long. They didn't say TLDR. They said it was too long, but they did finish it and it was worth it. So I'll take that. I felt that way. I felt like I was hitting the keyboard too hard and too long. And after I read it, after it was published and I read it again, I'm like, I said literally 3 times. I referred to eating something like they're eating it. The MAGA's eating themselves, and there's a snake eating itself. And I'm like, how many references to eating did I really need? I was eating dinner while I was writing it, so there's a lot of eating happening.
Multitasking.
So if you please subscribe to Minocqua Brewing Company Substack or their newsletter, MinocquaBrewingCompany.com. And when my articles are up Monday through Wednesday, you order some Mocha coffee for Mocha Monday. It supports the work that I do there and encourages me to keep doing it and be angry on Sundays. My poor family. I have to write I'm so angry on Thursday. Order pizza. Make your own damn dinner. I'm angry at MAGA. Anyway, so we haven't spoken in quite a bit.
It's been a bit.
How are you doing?
I'm here.
It's a lot. How are the folks in your life that voted for this? Are you talking to them?
I actually did have an interesting conversation, especially related to the flooding in Texas. I met a friend on a cruise a couple of years ago who lives in Texas, staunch Republican. She owns a in-home daycare. So, but she loves Donald Trump. But we are still good friends. And she posted something earlier. And I commented, and it was more of like, you and I disagree. And it was more of like, this is the time where we need to come together type thing, which is what everybody says during a tragedy. But then I'm like, but we also need to stay together, but then we need to figure out what the future looks like. And we need to do that together. And she was like, I totally agree. And I was like, okay. I was like, we're not going to agree on the path forward, but we need to figure out that there is a path forward. And she messaged me outside of the comments on Facebook and just saying, like, you were the one person that actually did a positive response. And I appreciate that. I was like, I'm here.
She won't want to read my piece.
I mean,
she won't want to read here because here's the thing. My thing, because the Epstein files. Does she have any thoughts on the Epstein files?
We did not talk about that, but I have thoughts about that.
There's some people whose brains broke in the Republican Party, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. You're right. I can't talk about that right now because we have a guest coming on the show. We have coming up Joyce Porter, who is the organizer for the Oak Park Film Festival. You have the notes on that too. I can't find my phone.
I got it.
My phone kept shutting down today because it was too hot. I was trying to videotape a hot take on some things, and my phone imploded. Oh look, my entire purse has just exploded there. So Joyce Porter will join us in just a moment on WCPT while I dig in my very overly large purse. By the way, I have this fantastic purse from Rep Chai. They're not necessarily a sponsor of the show, but they are a sponsor of making me happy because I love their products. Let's take a quick break here. We'll return in just a moment on WCPT 820 Heartland Signal. And hi to our friends listening on KTNF AM 1150 AM in Seattle. More in a moment.
Out Chicago.
I'm saying it again. Equal rights for others does not mean less rights for you. It does not.
People are insecure. It's horrible.
But if you could hear my voice and you voted for this, just think about how does gay marriage affect your life? It does not make any sense. It does not make any sense.
Catch Out Chicago every Sunday, 11 to 1 on WCPT 820.
Porsche, power within your grasp. Feel the rush and find your new Porsche at the Porsche Exchange in Highland Park. Browse and test drive our extensive selection like the 2025 Porsche Cayenne. And right now, lease the 2025 Macan Electric for only $1049 a month for 39 months. Visit the Porsche Exchange in Highland Park or PorscheExchange.com. 8,992 with sign excludes tax, title, license, and dock fee. No security deposit required. Expires 7/31/2025.
Hey Google, play WCPT.
Streaming Chicago's progressive talk from TuneIn. If you're listening to this station right now, you've definitely heard my voice before. Hi, I'm Hawk.
And I'm Pete. And we're with Source Solar, your local source for solar. Source Solar is Chicagoland's premier solar installer, providing solutions for over 1,000 homeowners and business owners across Illinois and Iowa.
With over a decade of industry experience and deep roots here in Chicago, we have the expertise to help your transition to clean, renewable, resilient energy.
We can guarantee that we save you money day one without any out-of-pocket cost to you. This means you have an instant ROI, instant payback, and can save money to add to your bottom line day one.
At Source Solar, we source everything as local as possible, meaning we always carry the Made in USA sticker.
Find us online at www.source.solar. Stop in our office at 5710 North Northwest Highway or give us a call at 773-985-3992.
And don't forget to ask for Hawk
or Pete.
You're listening to Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez.
Thank you so much for joining us as we continue to drive it home. Joining me in studio is guest co-host Dan Schaefer, the host of Tuesdays with Josie, available wherever you listen to your podcasts. And joining us on the line is Joyce Porter, who is the founder, the organizer. We don't have her on the phone yet. I'll get to her in a moment. We are going to talk about the Oak Park Film Festival. I do love film festivals. I don't go to enough of them. Do you?
No, I don't actually. I should, but I don't.
The best one I've ever, they're all great. One of my favorites has been our friends from Social Change, our friend Todd Belcourt. It's amazing. I mean, like, some of these movies can really be life-changing when it comes to telling stories about things you might never have known about.
And my thing is, some of them are actually like short films, and they're able to actually tell an entire story within like 20 minutes. And you're just like, oh, okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah.
And I think the challenges of media, like having to do it in a small amount of time, whether it's because of budget or research, like, you know, space and things like that, talent, all the things, really makes people creative. Yeah. During the pandemic, Social Change did their entire film festival online, and it was kind of Netflix style, so you could subscribe to it. And by the way, our friends from Cinefem have their short film festival starting on the 17th, which is Thursday, running through next Monday. Okay. And we'll have them back because after it's live at the Music Box, it's all then going to be online, like Netflix style, where you can choose your movies. And there was one short film. It was just black and white, and it was just people. It was dancers in a glass box with like sort of like this smoky quality to it, and like their interpretation of being in a box with this, sort of atmosphere to it. It was beautiful.
But who would have thought of that, right?
Yeah.
So, but it took somebody to write that.
It was like 4 minutes long.
Yeah.
I was captivated.
Awesome.
It was amazing. There was another film that I loved that was this young woman with Down syndrome. Her sister returned to town. I think they live in Maine, and she returns every year, and they put on a production, a play, and because she wants to be a movie star, and so they create this, like, they make her the star. It's really wonderful. And that's what I want to talk to Joyce Porter about, who is the organizer, the founder of the Oak Park Film Festival. Joyce, how are you doing today?
Great. How are you, Patty?
Doing all right. We're hanging in there. We're on with Dan Schaefer. He's my co-host today. And this is your second film festival. Congratulations on a successful first run and coming back for another.
Thank you. We had great reactions last year, great audiences. It was so successful, beyond my dreams.
Oh, that's fantastic. So tell us a little bit about, what are some of the things that you learned last year that you're bringing to this festival?
Well, I learned that we need more time for all the submissions, so we have actually added a day.
Oh, excellent.
Yes. So we felt like there were good films that we didn't have time to show, and we had a really exhaustingly long day. So the opening is very similar, where we have a Hollywood film with an Oak Park connection on Thursday evening. In this case, it's going to be Moonstruck, which everyone tells me is one of their favorite films, and features John Mahoney, who's an Oak Parker.
Oh, that's lovely.
Yeah, we'll have a little tribute to him. We're figuring out what to do to have a tribute to him. And then on the weekend, we have the independent films that are submitted and judged. And previously it was just Saturday, and now it's Saturday plus Sunday afternoon, so that it's not quite so pressured, and we can show more of the talented filmmakers in the area. And they all have a connection to Oak Park.
All of them. So this isn't just like because a lot of film festivals have a theme or it's an open call. Mm-hmm. This has to have some tie to Oak Park.
Exactly. So we're actually, one of the reasons I wanted to come on now is that we're taking submissions through the end of this month through Film Freeway. And it could be cast, crew, director, subject matter, location, but it has to have some tie to either a current or former resident of Oak Park.
I love that. I love that so much.
Really cool.
Yeah.
And now my brain, I'm like, okay, who do I know in Oak Park, and what can I film before July 31st, but next year?
Yeah. Well, I was going to ask. So, do you have like folks that are coming back in for the festival from wherever they live now, New York, Hollywood, or do you have stars that are flying in for this show?
Well, no stars,
okay.
But we do have people who flew in last year from wherever to be at the festival because they're former Oak Parkers, and they were excited to have their films being shown. And heck, they could then also connect with their relatives in the area or whatever, and they flew in to be here for the festival. And I imagine that's going to happen again this year. So that's very cool.
Okay.
And we also, besides adding another day to the festival, we also added a networking event on Friday evening so all the filmmakers can get to know each other before the film festival. I was at a film festival, if I don't mind mentioning, in Conference. Sure. not nice. The Con Film Festival, but a short film festival where they did that. And they had a dinner the night before the festival, and then when you got to the festivals, you saw people you knew, and you say, "Oh, hi, let's sit together." And you weren't by yourself; you were with people that you'd already had dinner with. So we're doing that.
I love that. It's always weird going into, because some people are going to come by themselves for whatever reason. So it's lovely to have the opportunity to mingle with folks and sort of make those connections. I do have a question. Can you off the top of your head tell me what the shortest film is that you've featured in this festival, whether it's last year or you think you might be featuring this year?
Well, I don't know which films are going to be selected this year, but I know we had one film selected that was under 2 minutes.
What?
Under 2 minutes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And it can be very impactful because you probably, I told you last year about my film Stairs. 4.5 minutes. That's it. And everyone loves the film. So if you've got something very specific, you can sometimes do it very quickly and very impactly. Then other things require a feature.
Yeah, look, folks, you have 2 weeks. If you've had an idea, and go online, just Google, how do I make a short film? Yeah. And there's a story you've wanted to tell. And again, Joyce, do you have a panel of people that you sit down with or you take turns or share them with each other to view and make decisions about who's going to be featured?
Yes, the board divides up the films. We have one person who looks at the films and tries to give equal time. It's not like you'll watch two films, and maybe the films are 5 minutes and maybe the films are an hour and a half. So he looks at the length of the films and he divides it up so everyone has pretty much an equal amount of time viewing films and judging them. And it's optional, but everyone except one person who had some conflicts is going to be judging. And then we, if it gets to the point where we're not certain about something, then there's a second round.
Outstanding. I love that. Well, folks, if you have a story to tell and you've always been thinking you've been on the fence, like anything else, pull the trigger and just, get out there and learn how to make a film. Yeah. And for those who already have a film or, had not heard of the Oak Park Film Festival, as long as you have a tie to Oak Park in some way, location, an actor who's there from there or lives there, there's a story about Oak Park also?
It doesn't. It can be.
Yes.
It can be, but Excellent. It doesn't have to be. And I should point out that it is the Oak Park, Illinois Film Festival, because the Oak Park Film Festival is in Michigan.
Is in what? Is in Michigan?
Yes, there's an Oak Park, Michigan, and they have a film festival.
All right.
Okay.
So,
I will say, Joyce, my favorite Oak Park person is Betty White. She was born there. She kissed me on the cheek once, and I love her, and so that's my cling to Oak Park.
Aw,
so,
I love that.
Oh, that is so sweet. And everyone in Oak Park loves Betty White, even though
how can you not?
she was only born here, right? But she came back to visit many times. She had family here.
This sounds like a really cool event.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I really can't. I don't know of. I can't swear that there aren't another film festival that's like this, where it has to have a connection, as opposed to simply having we're going to have one category where it's local.
Sure.
Well, this is the whole thing, and we try to make it really fun. We have some food for everyone. We have Q&As after every film block. We have some interviews and panels, so that it's a real experience. And I should give you the website. It's simply the initials, OPILFF.org. And that'll have information there about if you want to submit a film. And I'm hoping that some people will go, gee, I'd like to be in that festival, so I'm going to shoot a scene in Oak Park. Or I'm going to use an Oak Park actor. You never know.
I love that. I'm actually going to a memorial on July 26th, and I'm like, it's all actors. My friend of mine who passed away, and all of her friends are actors, and I'm tempted. It's in Oak Park in a big backyard, and I'm tempted to figure something out just for like a 4-minute. At any rate, congratulations again on the second year. Everyone go to OPILFF.org to learn more about the Oak Park, Illinois Film Festival. Submit if you have an idea. Also, get some information and reserve your date, September 13 and 14. Get all the information there about the event. Congratulations, Joyce. We'll talk to you again soon.
Thanks, Patty.
Take care. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Let's take a break here. We'll continue our conversation with Dan Schaefer as my guest co-host today. And we'll be back in a moment on WCPT 820 Heartland Signal and KTNF AM 9, KKNW 1150 Seattle. See, it's too early in the morning, Seattle. Also, it's too late at night. It's both the things for now.
You're listening to WCPT 820. Here's the latest Chicago weather update.
I'm meteorologist Ray Miller from the Weatherology Weather Center. Partly cloudy skies tonight with a low temperature of 74 degrees and south winds at 5 to 10 miles an hour. Wednesday, sunny for most of the day. A slight chance of an isolated afternoon thunderstorm with a high around 91 degrees and the heat index near 100. On Thursday, we'll see a chance of thunderstorms with cooler temperatures, a high around 74. Friday, sunny with a high of 75. That's the latest Chicago weather update. Right now, it's 90.
This is Chicago's Progressive Talk, 820 AM, WCPT Willow Springs, and online at WCPT820.com, where facts matter. Mind over matters.
Dr. Amy Harris-Nuan, as you know, this show is about challenging you to think differently, to make different choices in your life, to take action, to create positive outcomes in your life. So I want to challenge you to look at your life holistically. Where am I satisfied? What areas need attention? And then go to work, take in action what you need to do.
Mind Over Matters with Dr. Amy Harris-Nuan, Sundays at 10 a.m. on WCPT 820.
This is an important notice to all U.S. taxpayers. The IRS is giving away billions of dollars in tax savings through a federal program called the Fresh Start Initiative to aid delinquent taxpayers. This initiative was established for anyone facing financial hardship and unable to pay their back taxes. Qualifying and enrolling in this program will stop all collections, settle your delinquent tax problem, and even reduce what you owe by thousands of dollars. Call the hotline at People's Tax Relief to see if you qualify and get this free information by dialing 800-921-8189. If you have unfiled tax returns or cannot afford to pay your personal or business back taxes, you can now get the help you need. One simple phone call can resolve your tax problem and save you thousands of dollars. To see if you qualify and to get this important free information, call 800-921-8189. 800-921-8189. 800-921-8189.
WCPT 820, Chicago's Progressive Talk, where facts matter.
Union Strong Chicago continues to lead the way with progressive values and in preserving democracy. Your support of the Minocqua Brewing Company Super PAC efforts in Wisconsin and beyond strengthens the fight against MAGA Republicans. You can now purchase progressive beers like Labor Lager, Love Wins Fruited Sour, and the Resistance IPA in Chicago at Rogers Park Provisions, Diversity Beer, Wine and Spirits in Lakeview, Park West Liquor, Wine and Beer in Lincoln Park, Logan Square Liquors, and Tip Top Food and Liquors in Westtown. Visit MinocquaBrewingCompany.com for all their Chicagoland locations. As always, no matter how bad our sports teams are, please drink responsibly.
You're listening to Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez.
Thank you so much for joining us as we continue to drive it home. Joining me in the studio is guest co-host Dan Schaefer. Folks love when you're on. By the way, and I know it's because it's summertime, but I do get nervous when I don't hear from our regulars. I know right now the phone lines aren't open, but have you heard from Judy lately? I know she called one day at the end of the show. Yeah, I think she was up in Wisconsin.
Yeah, that was last time.
It's Wisconsin, right? Or Michigan? Wisconsin?
It's Wisconsin.
I think it's Wisconsin, too. Do you know what? I found out how far away Minocqua is.
It's pretty far.
I thought about doing a road trip. I'm like, I got to go see all this, right?
It's like a 5-hour drive.
No, it's a 7-hour drive.
That's why I fly.
Oh my God! You fly to Minocqua?
Well, I married a flight attendant, and so Delta takes me right in there.
I thought you flew for United.
Yeah, but I can. There's partner.
Are they?
Thing. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Can I use my miles on? I can't use my miles on Delta, can I?
Yeah.
Can I?
Yeah.
Interesting.
We'll figure it out.
Okay.
It's a long drive. I'm not a carpool. I'm not like a road trip person.
No, I'm not
I like
anymore.
to just get where I need to go.
If I could do van life, if I could have like a van with like a bed, with a little mini kitchen, one of those things, I might be able to be more of a road warrior again. I used to be a road warrior for years as a stand-up comic, but I'm not up for it anymore. At any rate, so I am planning a trip. So here's what we're planning. For my 25th wedding anniversary and all the birthdays, we all have our birthday within a month of each other.
Okay.
My husband's birthday, has a big birthday coming up. We had planned on taking the family to Scotland in 2022, but then Declan's legs locked up and he lost the ability to walk independently. And it's funny because somebody was like, walking with a walker is still walking. And I get that. It was the one thing that Declan had that gave him some independence was to he could just walk for miles and explore and take in the world. So at any rate, it's taken us 3 years to sort of figure out our lives now with a lot of equipment and medications and, he has these lockout braces and all kinds of things. At any rate, so now I've added, Scott, as long as I'm there, as long as I'm across the pond, we're going to go to Paris too. So my plan is...
Paris is my happy place.
Is it really?
That is my happy place.
We have to talk. So I need a hotel. So these are obviously very small hotels. Yeah. The rooms are very small.
All Europe. It's all,
Yes. And so, and we've been, we stayed in a fantastic... So London's one of our happy places. We love London. Okay. And so I have a massive amount of flyer miles. I have I think it's close to 500,000. But on 3 different accounts, 2 with United. Yeah. And then one that's I think will help with the hotel. But... at any rate, so we're going to fly to Paris. Griffin's going to be studying in Italy for 3 weeks, and we're going to meet him in Paris. I can't believe I'm having this life. I've never had this life.
Where in Italy?
In Florence.
Oh,
I don't. Steve's going to be.
Florence is
your other happy place.
Yes.
Why does everybody react that way to Florence?
So pretty. It's just so pretty.
All right.
Yeah.
Excellent.
The Duomo, you got. It's all.
We're not going to Italy. Griffin's going to Italy. You have to talk to Griffin about Italy. Yes.
But if you're in Paris, though, catacombs, gotta go. You gotta go. And
I do like me some catacombs. I do like some tunnels underneath the churches and streets and dead bodies.
And get a nice baguette.
Okay.
And some cheese.
Okay.
And some wine.
Yes.
And sit right by the river.
Okay.
And you'll just enjoy life.
See, this is what I kind of feel like because we don't have a lot of mobility. There's a lot of cobblestones in both, right?
Yeah.
So the wheelchair, we broke our wheelchair. Declan's the bolts just basically fell out of it after banging around in Wales. We were in Cardiff. Also highly recommend. Love Cardiff.
When are you going again? I'm sorry.
I'm going in September.
Okay.
Yes.
Because we brought Mom to Paris to see Elton John.
As you do.
And I bought a transport chair. And with the cobblestones, they were not conducive. So we still have the transport chair. What I was going to do was put some new tires on it. So it actually is conducive to the cobblestones.
Oh, really?
So
wait, what did you put on it?
I'm going to.
You're going to put different wheels?
Yeah, that was my theory about it. I can do that because we still have the chair. And basically, it's not those like the random tires that come with the transport chair. So they're more conducive to cobblestone. So you and I need to just touch base, and we'll work on that. Because she wants to go back to Europe, and I need to make sure that she has the transport chair that's conducive to that. So we'll just do the same thing.
Yeah, I want to know how that goes because yes. So we're taking basically I have one of those portable like collapsible ones from Walgreens.
Yeah,
you know,
that's
like
what
the
we got.
little push chairs. Yeah, because Declan has a what's called a push chair. I hate that. So it looks like it's categorized by the airlines as a stroller, even though he's 20 years old, and it's a little bit. I get a little. It was very tense.
Yeah,
I don't want to cause an international scene again.
No, not again. No.
Again. But I want to know about that because I do think that it needs absorbed. Like they need to be absorbed because they're that hard plastic.
She would be the first person to tell you that it was the most ridiculous thing. As I'm like rolling her through the
yeah, it's a lot. I will say the folks at the hotel we were staying at, we were at a Hyatt, I think in Wales, and we told the people at the front desk, and they sent up like the engineer from the building, and he brought tools, he brought every size of bolt and all the screws and stuff, and put Declan's wheelchair. He saved our trip because we were like, "What do we do?"
Everybody is so good in Europe.
Oh my god, such the good stuff.
Mom got front row seats to Elton John. Like we didn't pay for them, but they just brought her in to see the Mona Lisa. They literally just security. You can just go right through.
Yep.
The Eiffel Tower.
Yep.
Go right through. Europeans are amazing, and we need to take a page out of their book.
You know, if I ever have the opportunity to work for the city of Chicago, I would love to be able to have a part in sort of modeling what I saw in Dublin, because the people are sort of.
You were talking about the disability.
Yeah,
just
the signage.
Attention to.
Yeah, they notice, and so whenever we would walk up to an elevator that was full, and this happened to us today at a parking garage, like there was us and another wheelchair. And everybody nobody. And look, I don't expect necessarily special treatment. No. That's why it was so surprising in Dublin. Like there was a full elevator, and when they saw Declan in the wheelchair, everyone got out of the elevator. We were embarrassed by how quickly everyone got out of the. We were like, no, we're fine. We'll wait for the next one, or we don't need that much room. No, everyone got out of the elevator. At any rate, I'm looking forward to that.
How people think about others.
Yes.
Before themselves.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that we need more of that now.
I think so too.
Today.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. I agree. I'm excited. I'm excited, but I am a little bit concerned about what the attitude. I think that we should sew maple leaves onto all of our clothing, and say "Yeah, hey there" a lot. Sure. I don't know how to tell you this. As much as I am a liberal and I love Europe, I reek of being an American when I'm there. Everyone knows I'm loud, I'm brassy.
Okay.
I don't. Yeah,
that's fine.
I know. No, I mean people. There were situations that were very strange.
Okay.
Just I got called an effing American at a pub in London because I said could I have 4 pints of Guinness, and the bartender said I don't know if I can't do that. I'm not going to do the English accent. It's terrible. But he said that he goes, "You're asking me if you can, and I'm guessing that you have the ability to have the. You're asking me." And he goes, "It's may I?" And effing Americans never say please. And then so I was like, "Can I effing have? May I effing please have 4 pints of?"
Incorporated it, so it's fine.
This worked. That was all better. And then I can't remember why I got yelled at in Wales, but yeah, I get. But you know what's funny? Actually, to really think about it, I get yelled at a lot here too. So I think it's me.
Join the club. Get in line. You're not so special. Stop it.
Let me take a break here. We're going to have on the phone with us just in a moment. We're going to have Alex Hackworth joining us. We have so many things are going on around the country. Alex Hackworth is a regional organizing director for Unite New York, and we'll talk with him in just a moment. Dan Schaefer and I will return on WCPT 820 Heartland Signal and KKNW 1150 Seattle, Washington.
A better life with Dr. Sanjay Gupta.
Are you looking to get in shape? How about a snack? An exercise snack. It's a term that was coined almost 2 decades ago to describe short bursts of activity as opposed to more prolonged exercise. One recent study found that performing 15 to 30-second exercise snacks 3 times a day was shown to improve cardiorespiratory fitness and exercise performance in inactive adults. Another found that when inactive adults started doing just a few minutes of vigorous physical activity every day, they were less likely to develop cancer. Third study found that adding these little bursts was associated with a lower risk of developing dementia. You get what I'm trying to say here. I'm going to repeat it. Doing something is always better than doing nothing. Start small. Build on your success. You'll be more likely to stick with it. I'm Dr. Sanjay Gupta, helping you live a better life.
DQ presents How to Make Your Summer Take Flight. Just head into DQ for our new Superman Cake Batter Cookie Dough Blizzard Treat. Treat your inner hero to an epic mix of sugar cookie dough, sprinkles, and cake batter flavor. Blend it all with legendary DQ soft serve, and it's enough to tempt Superman himself. Fly into DQ for our new Superman Cake Batter Cookie Dough Blizzard Treat before it's gone. And don't miss Superman, only in theaters July 11th. DQ, happy tastes good. Only at participating locations.
Millions of Americans take medicine like Ozempic and Zepbound. Many of them are overpaying by thousands of dollars a year. These GLP-1 medications for diabetes, weight loss, and more may not always be covered by your insurance, but GoodRx can help. GoodRx helps you save every month on prescriptions at over 70,000 pharmacies nationwide. Best of all, it's free to use. Check GoodRx to save on GLP-1s. Just go to GoodRx.com/GLP. That's GoodRx.com/GLP. GoodRx is not insurance, but can be used instead of insurance, including Medicare and other.
This is WCPT 820, where facts matter.
Hi, this is Patti Vasquez. We appreciate all our fans of Driving It Home, and your support of show sponsor Minocqua Brewing Company ensures that our important conversations continue right here on WCPT each weekday from 5 to 7 p.m. You can now find the Resistance IPA, Labor Lager, or the Resistance Pilsner beer at several Illinois locations, including Arminetti Wine and Spirits in Woodstock, Pineapple and Company in North Riverside, Lions Beverage Depot in Arlington Heights, and MP's Liquor, Wine, and Beer in North Aurora. For a full list of Chicagoland locations, please visit MinocquaBrewingCompany.com. As always, please vote and drink responsibly.
From city streets to political beats, you're driving it home with Patti Vasquez, where progressive talk fuels the ride.
Thank you so much for joining us as we drive it home. Dan Schaefer, the host of Tuesdays with Josie, available wherever you listen to podcasts, is joining me in studio as my guest co-host. And we've been talking a lot over, obviously, the last few months about what do we do now. And I love that Alex Hackworth is joining us because Alex is a regional organizing director for Unite New York, a nonpartisan movement seeking to build a stronger democracy in New York through more voices and more choices. Let's talk about ranked choice voting. Hey, Alex, how are you doing today?
Great, Patty. How are you today?
I'm hanging in there. It's very hot in Chicago. How's your weather?
Oh, it's been better. We've had our hot streak for the last month and a half, and I think we're gearing up for about 10 days of rain here or so. So
I saw
kind of looking for the light at the end of the tunnel.
Well, yeah, I saw some heavy water damage in places. And look, even the weather is something that is important to folks when they decide to vote. And I love the work that you're doing with Unite New York. So tell us a little bit about your organization.
Yeah, so Unite New York is a nonpartisan nonprofit. We're kind of focused mostly on pro-voter and pro-democracy reforms. Specifically, one of our main issues is ranked choice voting, which, we're going to get into. But we're also focused on other things like open primaries, increasing ballot access for, non-establishment candidates, making sure, voters can put things directly onto the ballot through the ballot initiative, and kind of just making sure voters have a little bit more voice and more choice.
As we all need. And now, Dan, are you familiar? Where are you on ranked choice voting? Because I know I talk about it a lot.
For me, I think that it is something that we need to do, but I think that it is also something that is not widely understood. And so people get kind of freaked out when we talk about the concept of it. But I'm 100% on board with it. I'm 100% on board with it. But I do think that there needs to be more of a communication plan that explains what it is. because people just kind of get weirded out.
Yeah, that's right.
Change is scary.
Yeah.
People get,
Is it the best way to put it? I would say that's right, Alex, right?
Yeah, that was one of the big issues that we saw when, New York voters approved it back in 2019. We first used it for the mayoral primary in 2021, but a lot of people were a little confused. Some people critiqued the education rollout, but there's, a lot of great organizations like Common Cause New York or Common Cause at the national level, Fair Vote, Rank the Vote, Unite New York here in New York that are doing a lot of that voter education. And when we start to do that education, and people start to use ranked choice voting, and if they can't use it in their locality, if they start to grasp it, we see that they, love it for the benefits that it brings different groups who can use it.
Yeah, I use examples all the time. For folks who are in Chicago, but of course that's Chicago specific, we've had a couple of mayoral races where there is a huge field of candidates. And that, I think the one with Lori Lightfoot was 13, and neither one of the candidates that ended up in the runoff had gotten more than 20% of the vote. So the voice of the people isn't really being heard. Now you're kind of like, the two. I mean, look, I'm just saying that perhaps people would have ranked them differently.
Mm-hmm.
They would, your choices wouldn't come down to in that field Lori Lightfoot and Tony Preckwinkle. That's again a specific version, but it costs a lot of money to do those runoffs too. Does that help in the conversation that it can save money and not have runoffs?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I was looking into, Chicago's past elections, and both Chicago and New York are privileged to have very energetic mayoral campaigns where there's a lot of people who are coming into it, right?
He says energetic. We say nasty. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to, I'm from the Midwest originally, so I want to keep the silver lining here.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. But at the end of the day, what you end up is seeing people who get 20% of that vote, and unfortunately, that leads to a costly runoff. In New York, that comes in July. That can be upwards of $15, $20, $30 million dollars of taxpayer money. And wow. I would, I instead think about what would we rather do with that much money? Put it to affordable housing, put it to public transit, things of that nature, instead of going to a runoff election where there's going to be even lower turnout than before.
Absolutely. Now, people will say, "Oh, well, that ranked choice voting is too expensive, and you need to be able to do a hand count. That gets too complicated." What do you say to folks who have that argument?
Yeah, that's a common concern that I get, and I think people. One of the concerns that people will put out there is, they want to have trust and faith in it.
Yes.
At the end of the day, I always, as someone who's worked the polls and have seen what happens in the background, I think we need to be having, the faith in our board of elections and having the faith in our, neighbors who are helping run these elections. People who want to get their votes counted are still going to have that opportunity to, or, still going to be able to go through that appeal process. The, ranked choice voting goes through a very secure and computerized system that tabulates everything. And so you can have an idea of who might win on election night. And so that, I think, can help assure people with some of the, uncertainty that they might feel with a new voting system.
So my next question, when you talked about voter security, a lot of individuals say that voter fraud is a thing, when in reality we find that voter suppression is a thing. It's not voter fraud. That's like 0.0001% of whatever, right over a 10-year period. It's actually voter suppression that is what costs people elections. How does that work into this process?
I think one way that I haven't really experienced that much voter suppression here in New York. We're lucky to have a lot of polling places, but I think one way that ranked choice voting can get around it, and when you pair that with early voting periods, which we did here in New York, and we saw over 25% of people who voted early were actually first-time voters, and ranked choice voting played a role in energizing young voters to go out there. I think ranked choice voting can help support people engaging with the process. One way is through people actually have to run energetic campaigns. We saw that with Zoran's campaign, where he had I couldn't even go out on a weekend without being asked, "Hey, have you heard about him?" And so it really benefits the campaigns who are actually going out there, engaging with voters, having conversations about their needs, wants, their worries that their family might have. Through those conversations, makes people a lot more likely to show up to the polls on that primary election day.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, people want to feel like they're a part of something as well. It's a lot. Would you say that what's going on now, the situation we find ourselves in, the reactions people are having to decisions being made federally, are making the conversations easier or harder because people are exhausted? I mean, talking about politics is grinding some folks down, isn't it?
Yeah, and I'm no stranger to that. Sometimes I find it to be easier to want to step away and not worry about it, but we can't really be doing that right now. Americans are tired, and we are more likely to be pushed away by the pessimism of politics. Yeah. I see ranked choice voting as an opportunity to shift the narrative a little bit. Instead of the negative campaigning that, we might be used to seeing and the spins and the attack ads, it forces campaigns to actually try and build a coalition and to try and appeal to a broader base of constituents. Through that, already you are building a more optimistic election cycle where voters actually aren't really voting against anyone like we might feel like we are at the federal general elections. Instead, we are now getting the opportunity to vote for people, and that is a feeling that you can't really replace in American politics.
It feels like it's been a minute since no, it's not true. I recently voted for somebody. I often vote for people, but no, that makes a lot of sense because that's what negative.
Let's bring ranked choice voting to Chicago. Then that might change.
Yeah, I know that there are legislators both in City Hall and at the state level that have been carrying the bill. I know Senator Laura Murphy is working on this. I know that Representative Cam Buckner. I can't remember the legislator, the city alders that have been pushing this as well. But I know that there are those who are actively energetic about it. But however, it's Illinois, and we are complicated, as is ranked choice voting. But so are politics. Right. So let's put it all together.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. And it's also complicated here in New York because when I think of New York politics, it's it's down, dirty, the Tammany Hall era. Yep. You have a lot of corruption that might be present. You saw that in the last administration. And so I think right now we're all kind of searching for a better path forward. And there's a lot of ways to go about that. One of the ways that I think is through building a better system through which we engage with our political system.
Well, how can folks learn more and try to get involved and help spread awareness and possibly get this across the finish line in various parts of the country?
Yeah, absolutely. So, there's a couple national organizations that I encourage people to get involved with. Fair Vote, Rank the Vote. You can go to their websites, just search those names. And then for any listeners who know people who live in New York or have connections to New York, our organization, Unite New York, you can go to our website, uniteny.org. Get involved, sign up for our information. A really good contact for us is David Green. He's our statewide organizer. He's always driving up, down, around the state. Shoot him an email at dgreen, David, that's D as in David, Green is the color, at uniteny.org. And we'll be able to put you in contact with anyone that you might need to be talking to help out this movement.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Alex. Go get him. We'll talk to you again soon. Appreciate your hard work.
Thank you, Patty.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dan. Have a great one.
You too. Thank you. More after this on WCPT and KKNW.
This is an important notice to all U.S. taxpayers. The IRS is giving away billions of dollars in tax savings through a federal program called the Fresh Start Initiative to aid delinquent taxpayers. This initiative was established for anyone facing financial hardship and unable to pay their back taxes. Qualifying and enrolling in this program will stop all collections, settle your delinquent tax problem, and even reduce what you owe by thousands of dollars. Call the hotline at People's Tax Relief to see if you qualify and get this free information by dialing 800-921-8189. If you have unfiled tax returns or cannot afford to pay your personal or business back taxes, you can now get the help you need. One simple phone call can resolve your tax problem and save you thousands of dollars. To see if you qualify and to get this important free information, call 800-921-8189. 800-921-8189. 800-921-8189.
When you speed, you have less time to react. Follow the speed limit in order to keep other road users safe. Speeding catches up with you. Paid for by NHTSA.
AP News, I'm Ben Thomas. A federal grand jury's indicted the man accused of fatally shooting Minnesota State Representative Melissa Hortman and her husband. Hai Panjwani has details.
Vance Bolter also seriously wounded a state senator and his wife on the same day in June while he was allegedly disguised as a police officer. The indictment lists murder, stalking, and firearms charges. Acting U.S. Attorney Joseph Thompson.
This political assassination, the likes of which have never occurred here in the state of Minnesota, has shook our state at a foundational level.
The murder counts and the deaths of former Democratic House Speaker Melissa Hortman and her husband Mark could carry the federal death penalty.
The ultimate decision as to whether to seek the death penalty will not come for several months and will ultimately be decided by Attorney General Bondi with input from the Capital Case Unit in the Department of Justice, along with this office and the victims.
I'm Hai Panjwani.
Inflation rose in June. The Labor Department says consumer prices were up 2.7% from a year ago, with tariffs pushing up the cost of a range of goods, including furniture, clothing, and large appliances. That led to a mostly down day for stocks, dashing traders' hopes of lower interest rates from the Fed. And Lisa Dwyer reports an out-of-control wildfire along the Grand Canyon has now burned through more than 90 square miles.
The National Park Service's decision to not aggressively attack the fire right away is coming under scrutiny. Arizona's governor has questioned why the fire was allowed to burn during a hot and dry season. The fire leveled the historic Grand Canyon Lodge on the North Rim, along with over 70 structures, including cabins and a visitor center. Tusayan Mayor Clarinda Vale.
I don't want to point fingers. I'm just happy that nobody died, that there was no loss of human life.
Firefighters are dealing with a pair of wildfires near the park's North Rim. Neither blaze has any containment. I'm Lisa Dwyer.
This is AP News. A catcher nicknamed Big Dumper is this year's home run champion.
Seattle's Cal Raleigh won his first All-Star Home Run Derby after leading the big leagues in homers going into the break, defeating Tampa Bay's Junior Caminero 18-15 in the final round at Atlanta.
Kind of surreal, you don't think you're going to win it, and you don't think you're ever going to get invited, and then you get invited, and the fact that you win it with your family and super special.
The Mariners' breakout slugger advanced from the first round on a tiebreaker by less than an inch over the Athletics' Brent Rooker. He won his semifinal 19-13 over Pittsburgh's O'Neill Cruz, whose 513-foot first-round drive over Truist Park's right center field seats was the longest of the night. I'm Gethin Coolbaugh.
Robot umpires could be called on for ball strike challenges in tonight's All-Star game. And there's more news at apnews.com. I'm Ben Thomas. Thanks for listening.
This is 820 AM, WCPT Willow Springs, and streaming worldwide at WCPT820.com. We are Chicago's progressive talk, where facts matter. Now, your WCPT 820 weather update.
I'm meteorologist Ray Miller from the Weatherology Weather Center. Partly cloudy skies tonight with a low temperature of 74 degrees and south winds at 5 to 10 miles an hour. Wednesday, sunny for most of the day. A slight chance of an isolated afternoon thunderstorm with a high around 91 degrees and the heat index near 100. On Thursday, we'll see a chance of thunderstorms with cooler temperatures, a high around 74. Friday, sunny with a high of 75. That's the latest Chicago weather update. Right now, it's 88.
This is a WCPT Veteran Minute. After working several odd jobs in New York City, Henry Johnson found his way into the National Guard during World War I. Johnson was assigned to the 369th Infantry Regiment, but the all-black unit was better known as the Harlem Hellfighters. The Hellfighters' first task was assisting the French Fourth Army. On May 15, 1918, Hellfighter Johnson noticed Germans attempting to break in. Johnson retreated to get backup from the French troops, noticing German soldiers were attempting to kidnap another Hellfighter. Despite standing at only 5'4", Johnson sprung into action. With only 3 bullets and a bolo knife, Johnson was able to kill 4 enemy soldiers and wounded 21 others, causing them to retreat, saving himself and his men. However, Johnson received a total of 21 injuries all over his body, including his left foot being shattered. Johnson was discharged, and his papers did not show his heroism or his injury, leaving him unable to receive any disability compensation, leaving Johnson penniless at the time of his death at age 36. Johnson's heroism went unnoticed for decades until President Barack Obama awarded him the Medal of Honor in 2015.
You're listening to WCPT 820 because facts matter.
Get home with Patti Vasquez, Patti Vasquez. From global conflicts to greenhouse gases, the folks refusing to wear masks says, and politicians getting caught grabbing asses says, she's driving it home with Patti Vasquez.
Sorry, everybody. That's your moment of silence to contemplate your existence. And what are you going to do to save democracy? That's what I want you to do with that moment of silence, everybody. Sorry, Dan. Poor Dan Schaefer sitting in the studio. I was like, sitting here, is anyone coming back?
I don't know how to work the board.
Did Patty just turn the show over to me? By the way, joining us now is our friends on KTNF AM 950, listening in the evenings in Minneapolis, St. Paul, and also our friends on KKNW 1150 in Seattle, Washington. Sorry, Dan. Dan Schaefer is my guest co-host today.
I'm so scared.
Here at WCPT. Is she coming back? Is the show over? Did she not tell me? Would it just be funny if you're sitting and the lights turn off and I didn't tell you? We would I pre-recorded the whole second hour.
Show me what button I can push a button.
But here's the thing:
you control the entire thing. It's a very scary board.
There's a pushing, there's rolling, there's sliding. I found out yesterday there's a secret mouse pad over here.
There's a reason I sit on this side.
I'd never seen that before, and I've been doing this for like 10 years, and I was like, that's a mouse pad? That dusty, cruddy thing over the screen select is a mouse pad? I didn't know that. Okay. Hi, everybody. Welcome behind the curtain of producing the Driving Home Patti Vasquez show. We just use duct tape and staples.
The best show.
Stop. That's Dan Schaefer, the host of Tuesdays with Josie. We want to say hi to all of our friends listening all over the country, all over the world, watching on Facebook Live. Our producer and our phone screener is Lady B. The phone lines are open now, so if you want to call us on the Credo Mobile phone line, you can also text us to the Credo Mobile text line 773-763-9278. Credo Mobile, progressive phone company that is better for all people and the planet. Visit credomobile.com. They sponsored our broadcast, by the way, for the Pride event. So much. Were you at the Pride?
I was.
Downtown?
I was with the Chicago Gay Men's Chorus.
That's right, the Gay Men's Choir.
I saw you as I was trying to find the float, but it was so hot. And
so hot.
So, yeah.
I was basically like left foot, right foot, left foot, right foot. Left foot,
it was a lot. I literally just crawled under a tree after we ended at Diversity, and I just needed a moment.
I have to tell you our meeting place for next year because it went really well for us. And I don't mind if I tell everyone they're going to forget by next year, but you'll remember. Cafecito.
Oh.
Cafecito on Fullerton Avenue. The wonderful Cuban restaurant.
Okay.
Just in general, folks, there's several Cafecitos. We do not get sponsor money from them. Maybe I should give them a call and send them this audio.
Yeah.
But I absolutely love. It's where it's where I went almost every day when Declan was at Shirley Ryan because there's one near the the Museum of Contemporary Art. So at any rate, that's where we will meet you next year and have cocktails,
definitely,
and some really good food. Just saying. And I also want to thank our friends listening and sponsoring the show. Our friends from Pride Coffee Roasters. Go to Pride Coffee Roasters. You know what? You should order a bean subscription. You should just have some of Pride Coffee Roasters on hand in your house to make for other people. I know you don't wake up to coffee.
That's fair.
Does your husband wake up to coffee?
No.
No.
We're not sweets. We're not.
How's coffee sweet? You mean because people have pastries with their coffee?
Sweets. We don't do coffee. We don't.
You're a very strange gay man. How are you?
We're not your typical.
I don't understand what's happening.
I know.
All right, then fine. Okay. By the way, they sell tote bags at the Jefferson Park Sunday Market. My friends at Pride Coffee Roasters. Have you seen the logo? Sounds gay. I'm in.
Yeah.
They do those tote bags too. So
I love it.
I love those bags. So go to pridecoffeeroasters.com. Order a subscription. You can have them shipped. You can also learn more about the great coffee beans that they have and all the different distinctive flavors. Thank you to our friends at Minocqua Brewing Company. Also a wide selection of flavors. I mean, it's so funny. We have a drawer here that I send people home with some of our different beers. And we have Labor Lager. We have Tammy Shandy. And do you like beer or?
I do. I actually buy Minocqua Brewery.
Oh.
Yeah.
What's your favorites?
The Tammy one is good.
Mm-hmm.
I'm always a fan of an IPA. So
nice.
and I think that Lincoln Park they sell one. I forget the name of the store, but
there's tons. If you go to the Patti Vasquez show page, thank you for reminding me. Pinned at the top of the page are the locations you can pick up all your.
I love it, and I love the images on the can. It's
oh my god,
good.
The artwork is amazing.
It's so good,
and you can also find that on a lot of their shirts too. They now have I saw Jackie from Pride Coffee Roasters. It felt very cross promotional to me. I'm like, what? My worlds are melding. She was wearing I Hate Illinois Nazis shirt from Minocqua Brewing Company. Mm-hmm. I also hate Illinois Nazis. I hate all the Nazis.
I mean, we should
all
hate
the places.
All the Nazis, yeah.
Yes, and I also want to thank our friends at Source Solar. Go to source.solar. Your opportunity to make sure you take advantage of the incentives for having solar panels on your house or business are going to expire. Peter Sorellis will be in studio very soon to talk to us about how you need to make an appointment if you're on the fence, if you've ever considered having solar panels on your house or business. Now is the time to do it. So to go to source.solar and learn more about the great work that they do, and go to Kids Above All and support their mission to help children live happy, healthy, safe lives. Their gala is coming up. Or do you say gala? Gala? I'm not looking at it because you're gay. I'm just saying, do you say gala or gala?
Gala.
Gala. I say gala too.
But I'm gay, so gala.
Some people say gala.
That's fine. Whatever. Yeah.
So a friend of mine says gala, and I say gala, and I think it's because I'm like, am I supposed to say gala? See, if you say gala, then I'm saying gala.
It's a gala.
Ooh,
it's
gala.
It's a gala.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Then. You know what we should do? We should open up the phone lines. And talk to people outside of the studio because I've gotten slap happy, haven't I? It's too hot today.
I see
Jim!
one of my favorite people.
Jim! Hi, Jim.
Hi, Dan.
Hey.
Hi, Dan. Hi, Patty.
Hey.
Hot enough for you? What I was thinking about today is I remember going to a bookstore and it was Shakespeare for morons. And then I thought of the FBI, this guy who made the 20 Mule movie. He's the director, and then the radio host is the second in command. But the radio, let's go with the first. He's got the 20 Mule Team story. And what it reminded me of, he stole it from Reagan, because Reagan was a pitch man for 20 Mule Team Borax. And I actually used it when I was a kid in grammar school. I wrecked my uniform with it. And then later on, when he was elected, I thought, what's more lethal, the Borax that I used or Reagan? I couldn't make up my mind. It was a jump. It was a jump ball.
Yeah,
that was a jump ball. But and then this guy Dan Bongino. Unfortunately, I know Danny listens to the Republican propaganda.
I do.
But I thought we'd win the election, and I thought they'd be eating crow. But because I listened to their station, the evangelist, the maniac evangelist, and Dan Bongino and everybody else. And I thought, well, they'll be eating crow after this. Well, unfortunately, they're not. So I haven't listened to it since November. I wouldn't even attempt to put that. But the point is that why would they look at these appointments? I mean, they are really, one moron after the next moron. Yeah. Kennedy doesn't know anything about medicine. Who's the other nut? The wrestler? What is she in charge of?
Department of Education.
McMahon?
Well, that decision.
What is she in charge
of? The Department of Education, and she's actually working to dismantle the Department of Education. So she's working herself out of a job.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, with a hammer lock. She's probably using some kind of a wrestling move.
Wow.
A wrestling move to do it. But I mean, it's absolutely insanity. And the thing that's so weird about it, I grew up when journalists actually dove into, the nuts and bolts of these pick, and they give you a full. You can see it in 20 minutes. You get different commentators, and they tell you exactly what's going on. You can tell. Now it's impossible, and just absolutely ridiculous. Every one of them is ridiculous.
Jim, you know what I when I was in college, I was in my U.S. history class. It was during Vietnam, and when you lost Uncle Walt, once you lost Uncle Walt, then you were done, and that was basically when everything started to. And I honestly, I think that at that point, you lose the man that you watched every night, who was telling you what was happening, and when he was like, "Nope, this is not."
Yeah, Cronkite's off. Yeah, if he's done with
point,
it, yeah.
then you've lost, and that's it. And yeah.
Well, Dan talks about this. Dan Rather was another one. He was terrific. Dan Rather was terrific. Yeah, I remember getting on a plane going to somewhere in Europe. Anyway, it was an English plane, and Patty talks about this. That was the night that Gore got beat. But when I was watching the overhead, my sweetheart's got all the tickets as usual, and she's going into the plane, but I'm hanging back, and Rather calls Florida for Gore. So I'm like, oh, well, that's a break. So I sit down, I sit in the plane, and I still didn't feel easy about it. My girlfriend fell asleep, and the stewardess came by. I said, is everything kosher? Oh, no. Florida's up for grabs. It's up for grabs.
Yeah,
so
that was nuts.
I ran right to the cockpit. I landed with the pilots in the cockpit. Got off in London. Went to have a cigar, and I was going nuts in there. And you were talking about the English order for Guinness. Don't order Guinness in England. That's not a good idea. Okay?
I know. That's why they were so mad at me. Go ahead.
No, sure. Sure. But so there's an English guy, and he goes, "What are you so excited about? What are you so excited about?"
Oh, my God.
I said, "You're English." I'm an American. You get the picture? I'm an American. This is going to be a disaster. Anyway, you guys have a great night.
You remain my favorite. You remain my favorite.
Danny, take care, Danny.
Take care. Thanks. Hey, we have Ken, the host of the Lightning Strike on Sunday mornings. Hi, Ken. You're on with me and Dan Schaefer. What's on your mind?
Well, you guys are great. I love you guys. Yeah, on our show this past Sunday, we posed a very interesting question and got some amazing responses from it. And I wanted to share the question with you and get your opinion.
Okay.
Now, I'm sure most of the people have seen on the news the videos of all these thugs dressed in black, wearing masks, no insignia, no badges. It looks like they're kidnapping people off the street, right? So let's say, hypothetically, a big city like, say, Los Angeles or maybe Chicago or New York, all these big cities have very well-equipped SWAT teams. What if the next time you have 5 or 6 guys wearing masks and nobody knows exactly who they are, they start abducting people, the police show up in overwhelming force, like 50, 60 officers. They arrest those who are doing the abduction, right?
Yeah.
Now, maybe they're federal agents, or maybe they're vigilantes, or maybe they're just an outsider group hired to harass people. You really don't know. So wouldn't it be incumbent of the police to take them all down to the station to sort it out? Now, if a camera crew were out there recording said event, my question is, do you think that would be something powerful enough to show on network TV? Could this be the impetus to give people hope that maybe we're not turning into an authoritarian Nazi Germany type of fascist state, and there could be light at the end of the tunnel? That's
this is actually a topic that we're going to try to cover in the weeks to come, because I know Professor Joel Ostro's asked a similar question. The problem seems to be that I don't think that police departments have a problem with based on some of the texts that I get from present and former law enforcement, they are quite pleased with the way things are going. I've got to run to the break because we have Senator Laura Fine coming on with us in a moment. Thanks so much, everyone, tuning in on Sundays for the Lightning Strike. Let's take a break here and continue our conversation when we come back on WCPT 820 Heartland Signal, KTNF AM 950 and KKNW 1150.
The impact of a meal goes well beyond feeding our bodies, because feeling full can sound like this.
How did the interview go? I did it! I got the job! I can't believe it!
And like this.
Mom, I got first place at the science fair with my volcano project.
That's amazing, sweetie. Congratulations.
Because when people are fed, futures are nourished, and everyone deserves to live a full life. Join the movement to end hunger at feedingamerica.org/act now. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
As farmers and ranchers, stewardship of the land comes naturally.
Your work keeps our water clean, improves the soil, and enhances wildlife habitat. It also provides countless benefits, not just for you and your family, but for millions of Americans who depend on this region every day without even realizing it. Thank you for being stewards of America's prairie for all of us. Take a moment to find out how conservation pays. Visit conservationpays.org.
There are 1,000 ways to say it.
Nope. Knock it off. Shut it down. Dream on. No dice. Give it a rest. Not a chance.
Or just
all text. You focus on the road.
As a passenger, you have the power to prevent an accident. There are 1,000 ways to stop a distracted driver. Choose one.
A message from CTIA.
Mommy, can I sit in the front seat just this one time? Please, please, please.
No, not yet.
But why?
Because I love you, and you're just not ready yet. Now, get in the back so I can get you in your car seat, please.
Putting your kids in the right seat for their age and size is an act of love. Check that your kids are in the right seat at NHTSA.gov/the right seat. Love protects. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Alexa, play WCPT.
WCPT from TuneIn.
You're listening to Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez.
Thank you for joining us as we continue to drive it home. I want to thank our guest co-host, Dan Schaefer, for joining me in studio, and for Senator Laura Fine being patient. I know we're running just slightly behind, and you have a very busy schedule, Senator. How are you doing this evening?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm doing, I'm hanging in there. There's a lot happening too fast. But you are willing to roll your sleeves up and get in there because you are running for the 9th Congressional District of Illinois, Jan Schakowsky seat. How do you watch this, see everything unfold and go, okay, I can't wait to get in there? Because this is bonkers, ma'am. It really is.
It is. We have a very crowded race. But that being said, I think I've got the message, I've got the story, I've got the experience, and I'm going to finish on top.
And I think it's part of it's also the vision. Of course, folks, if we want to learn more about State Senator Laura Fine's campaign, the website is laurafineforcongress.org. And I know you have an event coming up with a lot of great electeds and folks who are leading in communities. Tell us a little bit about this event coming up and how folks can get involved.
Oh, you must be talking about the Making Good Trouble.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Sorry. Yeah, let's honor John Lewis.
Oh, my gosh. It is. We are just in a time right now where we all want to do something. Because we're tired. We're tired of seeing the wealthiest people take food out of the poorest children's mouths. We're tired of the medical care being taken away from our sickest family members and friends. And we're tired and scared of seeing grandparents literally snatched off the streets by people wearing masks.
Yes.
And people want to do something about it. And that's exactly what this rally is going to be about on Thursday. It's going to give us the opportunity to get together, talk about what's important, make sure that human dignity is not up for debate, and start getting the job done.
I have to ask you this because I think a lot of folks are probably asking about our counter a plan, right? We know that Pride of 2025 is not just being, radically implemented. It has been all over the country, right? In places like Missouri, in Iowa, Mississippi,
Kentucky.
Yeah, they were using those as test sites, and now we are experiencing it at full length. We saw yesterday with the Supreme Court decision in regards to the Department of Education, which essentially is giving the president the power of impoundment, which is terrifying. What do you see as the counter to that, the plan going forward as electeds like yourself, whether at the state level or as you pursue the seat in Congress? What is your vision for the next steps for recuperating from this?
Absolutely. My vision is turning it around and getting it done. We did that here in Illinois. If we recall, it's a little bit PTSD, but after Bruce Rauner was governor, our state was in shambles. We saw our human service providers were folding. Our universities were crumbling. People could not get access to the things they needed. Violence went up because we did not fund violence preventions on the street. But look where we are now. We were able to take the bull by the horns and turn it around. And that's exactly what we're going to do in Washington. We are going to make sure that the voices of the people are heard. Again, human dignity is not up for debate. We're going to take the House back in 2026 and make sure we turn this around. You and me both. Because people, it sounds flippant when you're hearing it, but people are going to die. These are not just policies, it's cruelty. It's cruelty that's creating suffering that is a result of greed. And we cannot stand for this. And that's why rallies like the one we're going to have on Thursday are so important, because our leaders in D.C. have to see that the people back home will not take this any longer.
It really is astounding to me how the madness is apparent. And so it does take people with level heads to have a vision for this. And tell me a little bit, one of the things that I still can't believe are these extreme climate events that are absolutely causing the most horrific tragedies. When you see something like what happened in Texas, how do we even communicate with folks who clearly turned away money to save people in their communities? I mean, like, what do you see? Because I see you as somebody who can communicate with everybody, regardless of party. What do you want to say to the folks who are so stridently against Democrats?
Well, and also, Senator, if I may, Texas, definitely, that is a major tragedy, but we had some massive flooding in Illinois. That literally, we got a ton of rain. In our state, and this is not the first time. This is probably the fourth that has happened in a short period of time. So just to build off of what Patty was asking.
Yeah, we have to tell people, really wake up, because the policies that are being put in place are so harmful that, people have to realize the emperor wears no clothes. And we need to turn this around. It's really interesting because what I am finding is I'm having a lot of really good conversations with constituents right now who are telling me that between the Medicaid cuts at the federal level and talking about climate change, we heard about what State Farm is going to be doing to increase prices at the state level. Working families are getting squeezed. They can no longer afford food at the grocery store. They can't afford their insurance on their homes, and they can't afford their medical care. This, again, it goes back to dignity. People are suffering as a result of greed. We cannot accept this injustice, and we have to demand accountability. We cannot let suffering be normalized. And that's what we're seeing with these constant storms and the flooding. It's almost as if they're trying to distract us with something else so we don't really pay attention to what's at hand. And it's time for people to wake up, as we will at this rally, and get together and say, not on our terms anymore.
Absolutely. And when you mentioned the Governor Rauner years, I don't think people have sort of the recall if they weren't involved, in the nitty gritty of it. But the big part of it was his turnaround agenda and crushing unions in Illinois. Talk to us a little bit about the message of working class families and how you'll fight for them.
Absolutely. It's the working class family. It's the union that's really the foundation of not only our state, but this entire country. And we have to make sure that the policies that we implement are the policies that are going to lift up the middle class, that are going to lift up the lower class to become the middle class and make sure that every family can afford to make sure their child could go to the doctor if they're sick, make sure that they could afford to put food on their tables. If they want to go to college, make sure that education is affordable. We've sort of forgotten that over these past, he's only been in office for a few months, and it feels like it's been forever.
Seems like 4 years already, but yeah.
4 years or 40 years.
Yeah.
But, we know from our experience in Illinois, things might hit rock bottom, but then there's only one way to go, and that's up.
Yes.
And that's what I'm excited to see. I am excited to go to Washington to be part of the process to bring our country back to where it needs to be. And I know we can do it because we've got enough people in this country who love this country so much and who want a better place for their children, who are going to work to make sure we can get that done.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your message with us and for the work that you do and for highlighting Disability Pride Month. Folks can learn more about the work that the Senator found. Where do you want to send folks to learn more about your campaign and the work that you're doing?
Oh, absolutely. First, you can go to my website at laurafineforcongress.org. You could also go to my stateside website, and you'll see some things that we've gotten done there. But what I think is really exciting and something you bring up is part of my agenda for my last 13 years in office is to make sure that every resident in the state of Illinois gets to have the quality of life and dignity that they deserve. And if you look at my track record, that's exactly what I've gotten done. And it is just a pleasure to be able to run into people on the street who say, wow, you did that, and this is how it helped my family.
I really appreciate it. And we look forward to talking to you again. And folks, you can join Senator Laura Fine this Thursday, July 17th. Stand with us. Protest in peace, act in power. Good trouble lives on. It's a rally and mutual event at North School Park in Arlington Heights, beginning at 6 p.m. And we look forward to touching base with you again and hearing how things are going. Thank you so much, Senator.
Thank you
Absolutely.
very much.
Thank you so much, and let's keep up the fight together.
It's not a sprint. But I do need it to be a relay race.
We're not going anywhere. We're here. Thank you.
Thank you, my friend. Have a good night. Go get them. Let's take a break here, and we will come back in just a moment on WCPT 820, KTNF AM 950, and KKNW 1150. Woohoo!
You're listening to WCPT 820. Here's the latest Chicago weather update. This is Chicago's Progressive Talk, 820 AM, WCPT Willow Springs, and online at WCPT820.com, where facts matter.
I'm meteorologist Ray Miller from the Weatherology Weather Center. Partly cloudy skies tonight with a low temperature of 74 degrees and south winds at 5 to 10 miles an hour. Wednesday, sunny for most of the day, a slight chance of an isolated afternoon thunderstorm with a high around 91 degrees and the heat index near 100. On Thursday, we'll see a chance of thunderstorms with cooler temperatures, a high around 74. Friday, sunny with a high of 75. That's the latest Chicago weather update. Right now, it's 88.
This is WCPT telling you how you can shop blue. If you have children, they are always going to be your special bundle of joy. And if they're a newborn baby, you want to make sure what's best for them. So here are the best baby product companies that support the Democratic Party. Procter & Gamble. Now, Procter & Gamble owns Luvs, Pampers, and All Good. In 2024, Procter & Gamble gave $599,000 to the Democratic Party, 61% of their donations. Procter & Gamble supports the Democratic Party. Kirkland Diapers. Now, Kirkland Diapers are owned by First Quality. And First Quality does not give to politics, but their employees do, and their employees lean slightly to the left, as $50,000 are donated to Democrats in 2024. This has been WCPT telling you how you can shop blue.
Being blind doesn't always look how others may think.
Retinitis pigmentosa aimed to overwhelm my family.
It tried to cut me down. I know where to find support and where I can be seen.
Innovative research, educational resources, supportive community. The Foundation Fighting Blindness is leading the charge in finding treatments and cures for blinding diseases. Learn more at fightingblindness.org. A public service message from the Foundation Fighting Blindness.
Chicago's Progressive Talk, WCPT 820, where facts matter.
If you're listening to this station right now, you've definitely heard my voice before. Hi, I'm Hawk.
And I'm Pete. And we're with Source Solar, your local source for solar. Source Solar is Chicagoland's premier solar installer, providing solutions for over 1,000 homeowners and business owners across Illinois and Iowa.
With over a decade of industry experience and deep roots here in Chicago, we have the expertise to help your transition to clean, renewable, resilient energy.
We can guarantee that we save you money day one without any out-of-pocket cost to you. This means you have an instant ROI, instant payback, and can save money to add to your bottom line day one.
At Source Solar, we source everything as local as possible, meaning we always carry the Made in USA sticker.
Find us online at www.source.solar. Stop in our office at 5710 North Northwest Highway or give us a call at 773-985-3992.
And don't forget to ask for Hawk
or Pete.
No detours, no distractions, just bold ideas and real talk. This is Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez.
Thank you so much for joining us as we continue to drive it home. Joining me in studio is guest co-host Dan Schaefer. Dan, we seem to have a couple of few segments of silence. I want to encourage folks to meditate. I feel like if we're going to have moments of silence, I should at least do a little of this. We should do a little music. Maybe we should do some meditation music for folks. If we're going to have a moment of silence, it should at least because it was just silence and you're just left alone with your thoughts.
I don't know how you work that board.
I don't. Clearly not well. According to today's show, I'm not doing it well, which is embarrassing when we have wonderful guests like our friends in studio. We have in studio with us Joel Bleifuss. I said it right. I said it right off the air. Everyone marked that I said it wrong, and then I made fun of his name, Bleifuss. I said Bleifuss correctly off the air. That's why you know what? I'm gonna meditate on it for a minute. That's Joel Bleifuss and Justin Perkins of Barn Raiser, independent source for rural and small town news. Thank you so much for both of you joining us today.
Thank you.
So Joel, tell me how you got started with Barn Raiser.
Well, I used to work at a magazine called In These Times, and
yes.
I was the editor and publisher there, but I started a publication or sort of part of the magazine called Rural America in These Times.
Yeah, I think our friend Rick Perlstein wrote for In These Times.
Yes, of course.
Excellent. And so, what was the impetus for beginning?
Well, I'm from a small town in Missouri on the edge of the Ozarks, and so I just saw how my county has changed over the years and how it's been taken over by sort of Christian nationalists and far-right Republicans, and I think that I just had an interest in rural culture and rural people, and I thought they needed a good media.
I read the book Strangers in Their Own Land, which kind of gives a little bit of insight about the elements that can lend itself to, I don't want to say manipulation, but it's hard, especially what we saw with Governor Kehoe repealing this legislation, where the majority of people who voted in November said they wanted to have paid sick leave, and he's like, screw 1.7 million people who voted for something. Like, how do you pace yourself with everything that has changed in having been a publisher of In These Times and wanting to call attention with Barn Raiser?
Well, I think you have to. It's important to realize that people in rural America are not the sort of right-wing masses that many urban people think they are. You look at how in Nebraska, for example, where Justin's from, folks voted to keep public education and keep sort of the Christian nationalists out of their public education system. And Missouri, the votes there during the last election, which were progressive on the referendum. So I think that shows that that people are receptive to a progressive message in rural America, and that's what we're trying to provide.
Oh, Justin. So Nebraska, you're from Nebraska?
Yeah, from Nebraska, outside of Omaha, a small town called Papillion.
I haven't been to Papillion. I've performed in Kearney.
Yeah.
But it's nowhere near that. It's like in the middle of the state. I know it's a long ways from there. I'm just trying to think of the places in Nebraska I performed. And to your point, like I've been doing stand-up comedy for 30 years, and a lot of it was in small towns. And everyone that I met were incredibly wonderful people. I was traveling long before Donald Trump came down that slithered down the escalator. Sorry, it's probably the kind of language that you use. But tell me a little bit about what your experience is in watching this sort of we call it a cult, but the stranglehold that and to your point, Josh, about how we think that rural people are all MAGA. How do you shake loose both groups, I guess, from those ideas?
Yeah, I think having grown up in Nebraska, I think especially in Nebraska, there's this strong identity around a sort of independent mindset, a sort of independence that runs deep in the land and in the culture there. I think that definitely gives a unique perspective to rural folks, but at the same time, that's sort of complemented with this other culture of interdependence that you rely on your neighbor for very critical needs and goods, and especially in rural areas. So I think there's a way in which that sort of mix of sort of independence and interdependence shapes rural realities differently, and I think lends itself to certain forms of collective mindsets, and can also lend itself to sort of forms of kind of individualism as well. So I think it's understanding sort of those things at play. But.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that it's hard for people in places like Chicago because, we kind of base a lot of our ideas now on social media. And Joel, that has to have changed so much throughout your career. I mean, was there a moment when you went, oh, this is getting away from us? Our ability to even communicate with each other is being dictated by both sides banging away at the keyboard.
Yeah, I think that's been increasingly a concern, and that was one of the impetus for Barn Raiser, because I don't think you can write off a whole segment of the population because you disagree with them, but you need to figure out where you can have sort of common cause and without, foregoing your values and what you believe. But I think one way to do about that in the rural context is to talk about people's rights to live their own lives and to not have the government be interfering in their choices.
Yeah.
Well, and Dan, I'm going to say you had a conversation with somebody that about trying to find common ground.
I think it's. I always say Chicago is. It's a city of neighborhoods, right? And you always have neighbors, and I will do anything for my neighbors, and they would do anything for me, and. It doesn't matter like what is happening. It's just like you just need to be a helping hand, and that's perfectly fine. It doesn't matter what your demographic is or what your lifestyle is or just a helping hand. And I think that to me, I grew up in Chicago, and that's what Chicago is to me. Like if somebody somebody asks for help, you help. It doesn't matter what, right? If your basement is flooding or if it's a blizzard and you got to snow blow the sidewalk, you just help. And that's just the way that it is. It doesn't matter. And that's kind of what I think that the perspective needs to be across all experiences of life or lifestyle. That's just me. That's how I operate. That's just it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, going back to your reference to strangers in their own lands, too, I think a lot of folks in rural America, too, feel left behind by the politics and that have gone on. And especially, I think, looking back on, 2016 to 2020, I think just the idea that, you would call a sort of a segment of voters a basket of deplorables, as Hillary Clinton did, I think, really sent a message that as the sort of consolidation of kind of Democratic strongholds moved to urban areas, it became wealthier, and rural areas got increasingly left behind. I mean, there's a whole history of there with NAFTA and the sort of deindustrialization, but I think there's this real sense that in a lot of ways rural areas have been left behind, and people feel that, and that's either sort of exploited for gain by sort of the right, or it's sort of seen as this sort of liberal-minded said that we're going to come in and do good for you and tell you what's good for you, and
right.
That's that.
In the condescending tone
right,
of what people seem to have about Democrats. I have questions. We're going to continue our conversation, though, because we must take a break. We're in the studio with Joe Bleifuss and Justin, right? That time was right? Was it close?
It was great.
It was great. Okay, I'll take great. By the way, it's not just you. I do it all the time. And then I psych myself out and then get everything completely wrong. That's Joe Bleifuss and Justin Perkins of Barn Raiser, an independent source for rural and small town news. And I have a question about the basket of deplorables, and things have certainly escalated all over the place since then. Let's take a break here. And joining me in the studio is also guest co-host Dan Schaefer. You can find Tuesdays with Josie wherever you listen to your podcasts. Thank you for joining us.
Joan Esposito, live, local, and progressive.
I have officially been behind the microphone for 6 years here at WCPT, and I really want to thank you. It has been a new lease on life. Parts of my brain that were asleep woke up again to talk politics with you.
Joan Esposito, weekday afternoons 2 to 5 on WCPT 820.
A tree can be a warrior, battling global challenges with greater courage. A tree can be a solution, cleaning our air, supporting our communities, and protecting our wildlife. A tree can be noble, growing hope in every corner of the world. That's why now is the time for trees. Millions of trees. Join our planting movement at arborday.org.
Are you looking for more in this world? Are you ready for something bigger? Then we are looking for you. The big-hearted, the bold, the messy and the gutsy. The teachers, the growers, the builders. The skilled, the sharers, the change makers. We need you. We are the Peace Corps. In more than 60 countries, we go all in and all out. We are volunteers, partners, communities, working together, living together, bringing our experience, passion, and joy to building a better world together. From tackling climate change in Mexico to keeping kids healthy in Kenya, from sustainable farming in the Philippines to education in Kosovo. We learn more, give more, share freely, and serve boldly. Are you ready to tackle the tough stuff? To go the distance to make a difference? Then we have a place where you belong. Join us at peacecorps.gov.
Because facts matter. You're listening to WCPT 820.
You're listening to Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez.
Thank you for joining us as we continue to drive it home. Joining me in the studio is guest co-host Dan Schaefer, the host of Tuesdays with Josie, in memory of his grandmother, and their relationship. And so I would tune in and learn more about his family and his experiences. We also want to welcome back on the air with us is Joe Bleifuss and Justin Perkins of Barn Raiser, an independent source for rural and small town news. And we were talking before the break. Justin mentioned the moment when Hillary Clinton said they're a basket of deplorables. And I think that, was it Barack Obama who said they cling to their guns and Bibles was another thing that people... Here's my question is... At what point are Democrats then not supposed to react at all when we're called commies and baby killers and all the sort of back and forth, and so, we have to let that roll off of us? I don't know. It's hard. We're supposed to be nice, I guess, is what we're being, you know what I mean? Does that make sense?
In some ways, I think there's a double standard at play. If you look at what the right and MAGA folks are allowed to say about people, and what the president himself has said about so
that
many
he hates
people.
us, has just this week said he hates us.
And
when you ask a question that you don't agree with, you get to say you're a terrible person,
Right. Yes.
and that's not, no.
I'm just wondering. I'm just trying to figure out how.
And it's
how
really sort of lowered the level of conversation. We asked our readers, and, do they feel safe expressing their views where they live? And 43% of our rural readers said they don't feel safe saying publicly what they think because of this political climate that is so poisonous.
Yeah.
And I think that progressive rural people feel very much sort of isolated and under the gun, and that's why Barn Raiser, it's one of our why we exist, is to provide a progressive perspective on rural issues.
Yeah, I would imagine, because I was in rural Illinois. I went to do a show at a VFW, and I have pictures. I think I sent them to the FBI, but it was like when we win on November 4th, it was about like killing Democrats and on like his property. And I mean, so why would progressives in rural areas want to share their thoughts? Anyway, plus they have a lot of guns, it seems.
But also we had a guest on when you bring me in to co-host in what was it, DeKalb or up near Rockford,
right?
And they were able to get officials elected like with overwhelming majorities,
right?
Because rural America, people feel like it's just red. It's not.
No, exactly. That's what you guys are talking about.
I would actually say most of it is blue, but you just got to be able to vote, number one. But then that's the part. But it also gets like into the point of this big, beautiful bill that they just passed, which is going to negatively impact rural America quite heavily in terms of hospitals and just general care. How does that play into people's, like, how are they going to vote moving forward? Or do they think that they even have a voice?
Well, it's very clever that the Medicaid cuts don't happen until 2028.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
Sort of like they're trying to push that down the road.
Yeah.
But it's going to catch up with them, I'm sure.
Well, there was also already a clinic in Nebraska that already closed even ahead of the big BS bill, because I think a lot of these are going to hit before even the actual cuts, because they have to forecast what their spending is going to be like, what their staffing is going to be like. Because if the Medicaid dollars aren't coming in, there are 9 hospitals in Illinois that are vulnerable to being closed. And I guess this is what's so frustrating, is that people think that liberals are fighting because we want to protect fraud and deception and all these things. I really don't want these hospitals to close, Jordan. How do we get that across to people?
No, it is a hard thing, and I mean, definitely hard to predict how people will vote. But I think there is a very that narrative is sticks, and it's an important one. I mean, of people wanting to protect against what's being called fraud, waste, and abuse. And I think at the root of it is. And Chloe Maxman at Dirt Road Organizing had sort of pointed this out to us, had sort of said that at the root of that people really do want these programs to survive, right. SNAP, Medicaid, food stamps, because they want it to work for the people who need it. But I think we'll have to see, because these institutions, from like rural hospitals to public schools to even like your USDA field office, they play like absolutely critical, essential roles in these rural communities, and rural communities will be some of the first communities impacted, because it will have a very concrete, material impact on people's lives. I mean, we've sort of heard different things from folks. Some folks have said that they're willing to take the cuts, to take the hurt, if it's going to root out the fraud and abuse and things like that. And I mean, to plenty of other folks in rural America too, it's just totally outrageous and unconscionable. But
right.
It is.
It's hard to communicate that, because it's the right seems to the right does manipulate through hate and fear, and that's hard to overcome. There's don't think of an elephant. I don't know if you've read that book about, the way conservatives communicate compared to Democrat. We're more maternal and sort of like want to care about people and things like that. So how is it with communicating with? I mean, is one of the things that like sort of demonstrate when something closes? This is because of the bill. Is it like drawing those lines, connecting the dots for folks?
It's that and drawing like the historical parallels and understanding that well when NAFTA came in and all these towns. These small and factory towns in the Midwest lost their factories. With that went a lot of jobs.
Yes.
And you think of a hospital. Well, if a hospital leaves a community, that's going to affect whether another company wants to set up shop in that area because it doesn't have that necessary service. And it's sort of a trickle-down thing that just gets worse and worse for rural
and it might be like if it's not a hospital, it might be like an urgent care or another private care facility that
clinics,
will not be covered by certain people's insurance, and then you have to pay way more money type thing.
And what's going to happen with nursing homes? That's going to be a huge crisis with Medicaid. They're going to close all over the place.
93 in Illinois are vulnerable to closing, and that's predominantly in rural areas.
I mean, I think, and one interesting thing as we've been covering rural America too is looking at sort of antitrust movements that are sort of against monopolization in farming sector, nursing home, hospital industry. Rural people respond to that really well because, I mean, if you really want to look at waste, fraud, and abuse, you should be looking into these insurance companies, these farming manufacturers. That I think that sort of narrative hasn't been totally captured by those or fully understood on the left that I think could be an effective way to sort of pivot on that.
Completely with that, yes.
Yeah. I think you're right. Well, and you said, so who said trickle down? I mean, because like that, essentially a lot of why we're here is because people were convinced that it was a better idea to break unions and, give these huge tax breaks from, what was it, 75% to 28% under Reagan. Yeah. And so, okay, that's actually the question I knew it was in there somewhere. As farmers are, whether it's because cutting SNAP benefits, because they also benefit from that, right? That's a subsidy essentially for them. It's where the money, not subsidy, but they're being paid for the produce to be given to kids in school or families. Isn't there a vulnerability for corporations to come in, like Land O'Lakes did in Wisconsin, or to buy up huge? I mean, already there are investors just sitting on land all over the country because farmers can't afford it because they're losing workers.
And I mean, the farmers most hurt by a lot of the Trump cuts are the small farmers that were providing food to local schools and were sort of part of the farmers' market economy. And they were the ones that lost their guarantees under Trump. And then so many farmers revolted that they came in with this sort of rescue package because they want to keep that voter base. And
it's temporary.
So we're paying it, but that goes to mostly the largest farmers who are getting the great bulk of the
you benefits. Guys have a lot of work cut out for you, is all I'm saying. How do you pace yourself, Jordan? I'll start with you. With like getting, I mean, this is a monumental task to inform people, and it's not your job to convince them, but to inform them, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, it is tough. I mean, we talk about this just constantly every week on editorial meetings of what's our plan and how are we going to cover it. I mean, one thing we're sort of aided by the fact, just as a very young nonprofit organization, we don't do breaking news, so we're not trying to be on top of every single thing. And I think at the same time, one of the main focus of our mission is looking at the organizers, the change makers, the leaders in these rural communities who are really trying to take charge and respond to these realities. So I think one of our main things we've been trying to focus on in our editorial covers is not just covering the outrageous things that are happening that are inevitably going to happen. Yeah, and it exhausts reporters, it exhausts readers, but I think we're really trying to cover how people are responding to it, and not shying away from the negative things certainly, but how rural communities are responding. How for instance, we covered this issue of school vouchers that across Ohio, Texas, everywhere it's been, but in Texas especially, there's been this movement of Democrats, Independents, Republicans to protect your public schools, because those are the cornerstones of your rural community. You don't have a private school around the.
Let's see how their football teams are, those charter schools. I mean, like that's the thing. I only have about 20 seconds here, Joel, but dude, this is a lot. How do you pace yourself?
Well, I think it's just, I'm very hopeful just looking at the way that people are coming together in rural America to organize and to reach out to their neighbors. And the whole conversation is changing nationally, I think, and people are understanding that that the rural areas of the country have to be paid attention to, and they can't be written off. And if they are written off, we're going to just get further and further into this sort of scary direction we're already going.
Well, thank you so much, both of you, for the work that you do. It's barnraisingmedia.com. Everybody support the work that they're doing. Subscribe, read their work, participate. Barnraisingmedia.com. We've been talking to Joe Bleifuss and Justin Perkins. And we have to run, Dan. I'm super late. Thank you to Pride Coffee Roasters. I didn't say. And then Source Solar and Monaco Brewing Company. Thank you, Lady B. Love you all. Have a great night, everybody.
Hi, I'm Morgan Fairchild, and I am a lifetime lover of animals. I've rescued every pet I've ever had, so I know firsthand that when you adopt a shelter pet and make them a member of your family, it not only enriches you and your family's lives, but that of your pet's life as well.